Good morning, everybody. So, this is day 2 of me drinking my chlorophyll. Yesterday, I finally found this chlorophyll in Whole Foods for $10. I drank my first cup yesterday, which was an 8 ounce, and oh my God, I already felt something happen. Day 2, it's 11:30 right now. I'm going to take this for the first 10 days, and by the 10th day, I'll let y'all know if I see a difference in this. Damn. Damn. Is this the storm y'all was talking about? Hey y'all, happy Sunday. I'm about to brave the cold. I'm going outside to my neighbors. Let's see if I slip and fall. uh, As you can see, it's crazy out here. This is my backyard, and they are, ooh, I'm trying not to fall. They trying to shovel up the snow as best they can, but you can see it's not working. Okay, maybe I underestimated the snow. I was fearing for my life going down the hill. It was the tiniest hill ever. But you try living on a hill and having to go to the train station every day because, oh my God, when I say I almost bust my ass, I almost bust my ass because I ain't had no boots. I don't own any snow boots. I have sneakers and flats. So one of the maintenance guys actually saw me coming down the hill and he was trying to shovel before I came. But I was like, you should have thought about that when you was out there. Like he was out there for a whole hour and the snow kept falling, so you couldn't tell he shoveled it. So he went back to shovel it, but he was taking like slow movements. Like he was taking forever. Then he took a break. And I was sitting there looking at him. I was like, I like the way that you took a break in the middle of the snow. He sat there in the middle of the yard and just didn't do shit. And then he waited till I got out there and then he tries to do it again. I was like, whatever. And then here's another thing I don't like. Why everybody are like, okay, I'm not going to say everybody. Some people, they wait until somebody falls to put snow on the ground. I mean, put the salt on the ground. And we have like a big hill on one side of my building. They don't put no salt on the ground whatsoever until they saw maybe one or two people slipping down the hill. Now, it's tricky to get off the bus. And I saw so many people get off the bus so slow and they still fell. So me walking on the left side, I'm sitting here grabbing onto the gate as I'm walking down. And he's looking and he's trying to, I'm like, you don't need to do that. You need to put the salt on the ground. I told the guy, can you please put the salt on the ground? Then I saw another janitor. Ask him, do y'all put the salt on the ground? He was like, yeah, we're about to do it. They didn't do it at all. No salt. And y'all wonder why so many lawsuits happens. It's like, this is your property area. We're not talking about that places that's not your area, but this is your area. You work for these grounds. You're supposed to put salt on the ground. And this is the shit I don't like because I was like, I'm not going outside until salt is on the ground. And I could tell if they put it on the ground now because I'm looking out the window. Make it make sense. Okay, so I wanted to do a little 15-minute ramble, but I'm gonna cut that down to 10 because I'm about to head back out. I got invited over to dinner for whatever reason. I guess she wants to have a girls' night. But let me tell you what the fuck happened to me on the last day of my class for one of my classes. So everybody knows that I love to write stories and poetry, right? And this particular poetry I wrote over 10 years ago, and it was about an ex of mine. And this was like a very erotic, it's about a very sexual poem. It's very neurotic. Everybody loves all types of neurotic poems, films, stuff like that. So my college writing professor was talking about certain books he was reading and what he was interested in. And he was asking us if we ever read some poetry. He was asking us, do anybody likes poetry? What type of poetry you like? Has anybody even wrote a book? So a lot of people in class was like, no, we never wrote a book before, but we do love poetry. And then you got 2 or 3 people in class saying that they do write poetry. And I thought this was really cool because I was like, yo, you could never find somebody who's into the same stuff that you are. And I always wanted to be a part of a book club or any poetry club where we get to sit around and write poetries and recite them, have our little poetry slams in the area, you know, because back in the days, I say between 99 and early 2000s, we used to have a lot of poetry clubs around the Bronx. Anybody that lives in the Bronx knows exactly what I'm talking about. You had to be a storybook lover. You had to be a poetry lover to know what I'm talking about. There were so many places around the Bronx where they used to always have poetry slams, whether it's in cafes, whether it was in restaurants, schools, libraries. They don't have it like that no more. Now they have it more in Brooklyn, Jersey, and Manhattan. And a lot of people record themselves doing this. So it was like, okay, let's try a little poetry, session. So my professor thought it was a good idea to do a poetry session. So he was like, hey, do anybody have one on hand? Like, they was like, okay, let's just see what we got. And this is just for entertainment purposes. So, of course, my professor calls me out. Let me stop putting this camera so far up. Y'all don't never tell me when I put this too far up. So he was like, hey, Sherelle, do you have any poetry on hand that you would like to recite? I said, yeah, I had 2. One of them was about me, but it was like an innocent thing. This is called Different Flavors. And the other poetry I wrote was Milk and Honey. And one of the poetry I was reading, the poems I wrote, this is about my ex. I was dating this girl when I was 18 years old, and I made a poem about her because I used to be like crazy about this girl. Like, I really liked this girl. So I told her I was going to write a poem, but I never read it to her. So I read the poem out loud in class, and everybody thought it was cute. Everybody was like, "Ooh, it's cute, it's sexy, it's a little flavorful." And they was like, "Who the poem is about?" I say it was about an ex of mine. I used to date this girl, and I thought we hit it off, So I just wrote something about her. So everybody thought it was nice. I had so many compliments from my classmates, but out of all peoples, why my professor was the one to insult me. And I repeated the same insults that he gave to me. I told everybody about it and asked them what they thought about it because I thought it was kind of weird. And I kind of got offended about it because never have I ever heard this man say something like this to me. And never would I ever thought he would say something like this to me. Because so far throughout the entire semester, he's been nothing but supportive. He's been nothing but nice, friendly. He was very sweet. And on top of that, we hit it off like we was best friends. I was just kicking it. So he calls my poem cliche, generic. And he didn't like the fact that this wasn't to his liking. Like, obviously it was too cliche for him because he felt like he heard it all before, and he treated it as though I was sitting here spitting game to a girl like a corny little boy. And I'm sitting here like, excuse you? So I made him repeat himself. I was like, what are you talking about? What you mean? You better define what does that mean, what you just said. He talked about, well, I said that it was generic because I felt like I heard it all before. I felt like it was cliche. It was nothing, original. Everybody say the same thing. People, when they get hyped about seeing a woman, this is what they say. And he was like, what if I was to spit a game like this to a girl? Would you think she would try to come for me? Would you think she would like it? And I'm saying like, you're married. And then here's a funny thing about it. This man is married with kids. So let me get this straight. So if a female kick it with another female and spitting this type of game to her, she's cliche, generic, and corny. But if a guy do it, oh, he's the man. So I asked a lot of females in my school about this, and they all said the same thing. They felt like he was an asshole for saying it. They thought it was very disrespectful for him to say that. They couldn't believe he even said that because he's a professor. A lot of people don't expect for professors to say anything rude out their mouths, but little do you know they do. I had came across so many professors in this school that came off very disrespectful, very misogynistic, very hurtful. And some people take it so personal when you either leave the class like a little early or if you decide not to go to class at all. I had all types of professors. So to have this professor go from being nice, kind, loving, supportive to being an asshole, it was just kind of shocking to me because this man came off as this cool guy. He's Puerto Rican, of course, but he's married to a Jewish girl. And he was sitting here talking about his move from Brooklyn to Jersey. So he was just sitting here just telling us his life story about what's going on with him and how he came up in his world and how he met his wife and what they do sometimes when they, when they have their days off and stuff like that. So he made it seem like to everybody it was okay to have a conversation like this where you get to talk about your life. And he was talking about stories that he wrote. So he told us that he was a book writer. So he had me read one of his work. And I was like, okay, he likes his dark and mysterious type poems. And don't get me wrong, I love a good dark and mysterious story. I love the thrillers. I love the gory, the films and the stories and stuff like that. And I would never in my entire life will come to you in your face and say, hey, your stories are generic, it's boring, it's whack, it's missing out on a lot of stuff. Instead, I'll be like, okay, it's cool. And if we notice there's something missing, then we'll probably ask them questions about it, but we won't disrespect them. It's all about having respect for one another's work. If you are not understanding somebody's work or if you don't like it, it's not to your liking, keep your negative comments to yourself. I didn't ask him what he thought about it. I just recited the poem because he wanted me to. He was the first one to say something really rude out his mouth, which I was shocked about it. And a lot of people noticed what he said and they were shocked. And other people didn't quite get it. And you could tell who didn't get it because their face looked really confused. So I was asking my other classmate, what does she think about this? And I didn't read the poem to her, but I told her what the poem was about. And I told her what was his response. And she was kind of shocked because she was like, why would he say that? My point exactly, right? And I was asking more classmates of mine. So I was like, do you think my poem was generic, boring, or whack, whatever the case is, everything he said? They was like, no, it wasn't. We finally understood what that poem meant. And one girl understood clearly that the poem was deeper than just sex. It was more of making a connection with another human being and to let this woman know that you are the one to satisfy her needs, to make her, fantasies come true. And I don't think he got that either. That's why I was like, you could tell like the ignorance coming out of people's mouth because you looking at the surface level of things and then you're so quick to insult a person. A lot of my poems and stories goes deeper than the surface. I am not surface level type woman to be doing surface level type work. I am a type of woman that goes deeper than anybody could ever go. And one of my favorite things to do was to talk about something deep and rooted when it comes to a person's fantasies, what's their expectations, a person's relationship. And I always love to talk about deep rooted stuff like, where is all this coming from? Why you feel like this is your perfect fantasy, or why you crave for this, why you want that. And I write stories based off of that. Just like my mystery novels, for you to understand a story that I write, let's go deep dive into this whole situation, where it started, where it came from, who started it, and what it's really about. And then I give you the plot twist. So moral of the story is, you have to go deep dive, like do a deep dive into something before you just make a very disrespectful comment. And after that, he had the audacity to email me, telling me to sign up for his next class because I guess he liked my work, whatever the case is. And the first thing I said out of my mouth was, fuck no. And I was like, hell no. So one of my other classmates contacted me, asked me if I was going to sign up to his next class. I say, hell no. Not after what he just said. He was very disrespectful. Why would I want to come back to somebody's class after you disrespect me just so I could get round two of your disrespect? Hell no. One thing about me is that you got one time to disrespect me and one time to impress me. And if you rub me the wrong way, just understand that we would never see each other again. We would never talk. And even if we do bump into each other out in the streets, I'm still not going to say nothing to you. I'm going to pretend like I don't know you and keep it moving, because I'm going to always remember the shit you say to me and what you did to me. So with that being said, I just completely just disregard every email that came my way from him and the request of me taking his classes again. Because just 2 months ago, I was too excited about taking his class. He has 2 more classes he teaches, and he wanted me to go to one of them. I was like, no. And I say, no disrespect to you, but I have other classes that I'm ready to attend to, because I'm trying to go on a fast track and do this accelerated program for my bachelor's, and I'm not trying to have nobody stop me from doing anything, because if you was to take other classes, it would stop you from doing your acceleration program to be a nurse, because you need to be focused on that. And I already got 4 to 5 other classes that I'm already taking, so definitely not taking his class. But y'all tell me how y'all feel about somebody saying that shit to you, if you think I'm overreacting. So, and okay, let me let some of y'all motherfucking heifers know. If you ever come at me disrespectfully, know I'm going to come after you. And I will shout you out on my channel. So you better tread lightly. I'm asking for respectful comments only to the mature adults here. So y'all have a great day. Oh, why I almost forgot to tell you about the weight loss situation. Update. So it's been about 3 weeks. The last time you saw me weigh myself was 3 weeks ago. And that was right after New Year's Day. So New Year's Eve, I found out I was about 190. And then New Year's Day, around that time, I think it was a little after, it shot down to 188. I was like, yo, I had to ask everybody, have y'all ever had that done to you? It's like 1 minute you're like at one weight, and it's like a couple days later you drop down so fast. My weight loss that I'm dropping down so fast from is because of the Mounjaro. But here's the thing. A lot of people I was talking to about this Mounjaro, I want to let them know that there's a side effect to those things. Just like Ozempic. You will have some aches and pains, but you'll have nauseous. Nauseated feeling. Like, I was nauseous for like about 6 days. I'm not going to lie to you. I went to the urgent care a couple of days ago. That was day 5 of me being nauseous. It started on a Sunday, and I was like deeply nauseous because I was sitting here trying to eat, and I kept wondering why I kept feeling nauseous. So anybody that was taking the Ozempic and the Mounjaro, be careful. Talk to your doctor about that. This is why I kept saying, do not go online to try to get advice. Go to your doctor. And even though all these things sound good to y'all, they even have Ozempic in a pill. go to your doctor first, because you need to know what's the real side effects to it, how it can affect you, especially if you have underlying health issues like me. I have chronic illness. I have an autoimmune disease. So I'm prone to getting sick a lot. And this is the first time that I ever got sick off of being on the insulin. And I've been taking it now for 3 months. And everybody kept raving about it, talking about it was like the best thing ever. You know, people wasn't thinking about the side effects. They was looking more of the numbers. My doctor kept telling me, don't look at the numbers, look at the feeling, how you feel on the inside, how you look on the outside. Continue to do what you're doing. So that's what I did. I try not to concentrate so much on the numbers, rather than feel what I feel and look how I look. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I see that I dropped 2 sizes down. And I'm no longer a size 18, y'all. Let's get that straight. I'm a size, was it 10? I'm down to a 10. I could fit to a 12, a 10, 12. And I kid you not, my neighbor bought me some pants, right, for like cute little Christmas gift. And I thought the pants was going to be too small for me until I put them on. I was like, girl, I have not been a size 10 since I was 18. Let's get that shit straight. I was 150 pounds. And I was like, I didn't think, she didn't even know what size I wear. And she bought everything just right for me. She bought me these t-shirts, the graphic tees. It was so cute. How the hell she knew my size, I don't know. But this woman gave me some of the best gifts ever. It was a cute suede pants. And it was a bunch of tees with flowers on it. Right in. And I didn't know how she even got it. So she went and bought me some more stuff. While this woman knows my size, she was like, oh, it didn't fit me, so it's going to fit you. Girl. Hey guys, I made my seafood pasta salad. Oh my God. So it has sardines and whitings in this. The fish is white, so you're not going to see the fish. It's chopped up. But trust and believe, I made my seafood pasta. It's so good. I don't know if you can see it there, but there goes the fish. And I also made my pesto pasta. We got a little spinach in it. So, oh my God, I got some good news to tell y'all. So, I know I haven't said anything much about what's been going on with me for the last couple of days. I was on vacation from school, right? So, our semester starts February 2nd. And of course, the first class I have is math. We got college math. But let me tell you about me being a part of the community board sits. So this weekend we have a meeting in another location for community board sits, and they're about to vote me in. I am probably like, your girl is applying for it. So how does that go? They vote you in, and after they vote you in, you become a part of it. You start doing all types of activities and work with them. We do meetings all over the Bronx. We have meetings about every little thing. They have different committees in this one meeting, which I love. But one thing I really love about this is that I get to put in my 2 cents into this meeting and to be a part of the whole community, because guess what? Like, I represent my community more than anything else and more than anybody else. So they was excited to hear that I was interested in becoming a part of community board sits. So I've been going to meetings back to back since 2024, and I've been enjoying hearing so many people's ideas, decision makings, and what they're going to do for the city. One thing I love the most is that we get to shine a light on not just the Bronx, but my neighborhood. Because some of y'all don't know, but my neighborhood has been going through a lot of tragic events. But also, we've been going through a lot of crazy shit, too. With the management team, with Department of Sanitation. And we just trying to make this neighborhood a little better, right? So the first thing we was thinking about was how we can make this neighborhood cleaner, safer, and comfortable for, all tenants, not just the elderly, but we are talking about children and young adults like us. So my next door neighbor, she's a part of the committee, and I love her down. She is so sweet. She is so fun to be around. So she was just letting me in on everything they've been doing. And what they've been working on is trying to bring back programs for kids. Because here's the thing, if y'all didn't notice, New York City don't have much after-school programs for children, and especially for teenage adults, teenagers up to young adults. Because here's the thing, back in the 90s to the early 2000s, everybody was having programs in every school. Like all schools was having after-school programs, whether you're doing basketball, football, volleyball, and then you got your arts and crafts, you got your dancing. I remember we used to do dancing for the band. Like we used to have music bands, and I thought this was only for high school, but this was just for junior high school and elementary too. So I was a part of the band for 2.5 years. I was a dancer. I went from being a drummer to a dancer because I just got sick and tired of carrying those drums. So that's one of the ideas I want to bring to the committee, is how we could bring back more after school programs for teenagers to keep them busy. And your girl, oh my God, when I said they welcome me with open arms, they welcome me and they love having me around. And to hear it come out of their mouths is the best thing ever. So I'm going to let y'all see just a little bit of what it's like to be a part of that committee and see what we're going to come up with. Is this Saturday. And then I signed up to be a part of this committee meeting at the 48 precinct, but they postponed it until February. So y'all gonna see that. But every now and then I'm gonna bring in just a little snippet of what y'all see in our meetings. And it's not confidential, it's public. That's why everybody is welcome to come. So if you live anywhere in the 10457 area, 10460 area, you're more than welcome to come. You're more than welcome to ask questions, see what they got in store, see what they coming up with, like all types of programs they trying to come up with, all types of help they trying to have. And let's see what we can get. Let's see what we can do.